You ready back, Audrey? Thank you. Yes. How do you want to put it on?
Good morning.
Where is everyone?
Oh, you know, Realtor Standard Time. Let's see, do we not have a clicker this morning? Good stuff. Yeah.
You have the keyboard right there.
Uh-huh.
You just push space bar, I think.
And that's gonna be bad.
I mean, whatever.
Whatever's clever. Good morning. I just saw your message. If you have a slide, we can add it real quick. If not, the tops are great.
Yeah, print out.
Okay, perfect. Then we can keep the slide with just your face on it, which I love. All right, well, let's get started because y'all are on time, so let's honor that. Ignite is in full swing, so this is the schedule of classes when they're being offered. So if you have one of your fundamentals that you are wanting to audit an Ignite class, you do not have to go through the entire Ignite series. You can jump into just one of those classes. And then the Ignite, the productivity coaches who produce Ignite are always looking for great agents to teach these classes. So if you're looking at this schedule and saying, gosh, I don't know why I'm not teaching make and receive offers, I am a pro at that. You are just not teaching it because we don't know that you want to. So please see me or see Nick and Terry and let us know if there is something that you would be willing to share in one of our upcoming Ignite series. Blow up your KW website. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day. That is the second most important thing about tomorrow. The most important thing about tomorrow is that you get an opportunity to have a tutorial on our new KW website. Quick show of hands, who knows that you have a free website through KW? Love it. Okay, close to 100%. Keep your hand up if you know that those websites just went through rebrand, refresh, new tools, new things added to them.
Is it the same address and everything? I'll go to the class.
And then raise your hand if you have gone through to get it set up and customized since all of the changes. Okay, so no hands means that I will see you all tomorrow at Kimber's Blow Up Your KW website class. It's an incredible free tool. And for any of you who have paid for websites in the past, you can back me up that it is a costly endeavor to have a website built for you, set up with the functionality that you get for free. All that it requires is a minor investment of your time to go and learn how to set it up and how to use it properly.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I keep getting all these phone calls from people saying your website is not showing on Google and all this stuff. Is it going to automatically?
You will continue to get those calls. So the question was, Beth is getting calls from people who say that her website is not showing up properly on Google. That is a marketing ploy. And so it doesn't matter how well your website is set up, you will still get those calls.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just wondered if it, you know.
Yeah. No, it
Would be making.
there's a reason they use that scripting. It's effective. So I'm glad that you asked. And please do always ask with those things. Real estate people notoriously spend a lot of money and lots of small amounts that go lots of different directions and don't necessarily hold their dollars accountable. Marketers are aware of this, and so we get really targeted. So my rule of thumb is if it's not in my business plan for the year, if it's not in my budget for the year, I'll get information and we'll review it when I get to my quarterly business plan update. But I'm not ever going to say, yes, here's my credit card on the phone. And that's something I would love to support you with so that we can make sure you keep your costs down.
Thank you.
And then along this line of marketing tools that are available to you. Jess is going to be presenting a do-it-yourself, but not by yourself, clinic on the 15th, so Thursday. So tomorrow you can go and learn about your website. Then Thursday, Jess will be going through the templates that are built out in the Home Hub version 2 and showing you how you can personalize these, create your campaigns, and use these for your business. They're very straightforward, user-friendly, and I know that my personality is such that if I get to one screen where I get an error message or can't figure out what I'm doing, then I'm going to throw the computer away and never try to do it myself again. So if you happen to have that impatient gene, Jess is incredibly patient and really good at avoiding you hitting that screen. All right, who here has ever felt like they wasted a Saturday at an open house? Thank you so much for not making me feel like it's just me. Someone who does not waste Saturdays at open houses, and not because he's not holding them, is Josh Stern. And I am so impressed by the systems that he has set up to drive traffic to his open houses and then to actually convert from the open houses. Open houses are an incredible lead generation tool, and they can be an incredible waste of time. And it all depends on the strategy you have in place, how you set up and execute your open houses, and the skills that you build around that. And so I was very grateful to Josh for being willing to come and share his secret sauce. This will be on the 20th, not the 21st, the 20th, which is a Tuesday. So we'll have team meeting that will end at noon. We'll grab lunch, and then Josh will start the training at 12:30. One of my favorite things about Josh and the Stern team and that kind of legacy is that if I am out at open houses on a Saturday, I can almost guarantee I'm going to run into Lee Stern. And for those of you who know Lee, she has been in the industry for 50 years, 50 plus years. She is a dynamo. She runs an incredible business. And I can promise you that if it was a waste of time, she would not be sitting at an open house on a Saturday eating cookies. She has 1,000,001 better things to do with her time. And yet she personally is at open houses. I swear to you, every Saturday that I have gone out, I have run into her. And I can barely get a conversation in with her because she is working that open house. So their system works. Josh talked about, and when I first asked him to do this class, he talked about an open house that he had given Lee a listing referral. She held an open house. He was leaving town. Then from that open house, there was 3 additional sales listings that she took and sold, all from that first listing lead, all from that first open house, and all that came together over the time that he was out of town. So he came back into town, stopped by an open house to visit his mom because he wanted to get a hug, and that's where he could find her because it was a Saturday. And she was closing the deal with the 3rd listing that she was going to take from that one. So if going deeper with your lead generation is something that's important to you, if taking listings is important to you, if having a lead generation source that is low cost or no cost with a high return is important to you, then please make it important to you to be there at this class on the 20th, and we'll fix that fight.
Oh, it's the 20th.
It's the 20th. Yeah, it's Tuesday the 20th, 12:30 to 2.
And Robbie, just like that, comments, right? If you call Lee and want to sit with her and learn from her, she would be like, let's go, hurry on, like, which channels are available now, and like, she'll do it.
Yeah,
Or she'll tell you where she's going to be, and you can go and shadow her. She really doesn't care about the listing. I mean, you want them, obviously, but ultimately, she probably would just be like, here you go.
Lee loves winning. That's what Lee cares about. And yes, you could reach out to her. Be ready to roll. Because she will absolutely be going Mach 10, and you will be expected to keep up. But that is one of the incredible things about this community is that there is so much collaboration and sharing. And I know that you could shadow Lee or pop in at an open house and watch her at work.
Just a testament to this, a week and a half ago, I hosted an open house for Jonah for one of the listings he has, and I met a couple from Iowa. They were there just for the day. And, they were looking at properties because she had put in, she got a job offer at the U and they were like in negotiations. And so it wasn't for sure, but it was a good chance that they were gonna be moving out here. And so right after I met them, I said, hey, let me shoot you my business card. And so I got her phone number and shot her my business card. And then, the next month, and then right after they left the open house, I gave them some other properties kind of in their price range outside of, like out into Lake County, because they're from the country. And so that's what they're used to. So I said, maybe check out this area over here. And I sent them a couple homes. They went and looked at them. And then Monday, I followed up with her. I left her a voicemail. Tuesday, she called me back. And since then, we've been in communication, and she's sending me properties, and she's planning on coming out here beginning of March. And so I already have time blocked off my calendar so that I can go out and show them homes. So, I mean, but it works.
It works. It works when you do. Do we have dates on this?
We don't, that's what Gordon.
We'll do it later. Rihanna is monthly teaching how to get paid. We need to fix the date on this slide, Jess. This is still the January one.
Oh, it's, I think it's February 31st.
That's the
Nope.
real date.
No, it's not.
Even though this year is a leap year.
Oh,
Still
yes,
don't go to the
Still not.
31st.
yes,
I will get the day before the
yeah.
end of the meeting and we will get that to you. Once a month, Rihanna is going to be teaching how to get paid. This is a great class for you to go through if you're not very comfortable with command and how to submit your opportunities. Please remember that submitting your opportunity, including the commission tab, at the beginning of a transaction, when you very first go under contract, is the very best way to make sure that your file gets completely through compliance and that you're able to get paid as soon as we get a check. Nothing makes my heart happier than you getting your check the same day we get your check. But there is no way for us to do that unless you get that submitted early. And then, so this is a great class for you to attend. It's also a great class if you have transaction coordinators, assistants. I've had a lot of agents asking about training for transaction coordinators and assistants. And this would be kind of that fundamental building block. So we will get the dates to you. It will be always presented Zoom only and towards the end of the month. And then our next confection and connection is going to be Wednesday, the 21st. Who can tell me what confection and connection? Confections and connections? No, singular. Who can tell me what confection and connection is? Y'all, I get so sick of listening to myself talk, but I guess I'll keep going. So, did you have an answer?
There's confetti and connection.
Similar, so less confetti, more desserts. So, yeah, this is a time that our ALC members, basically throw like a little happy hour, dessert hour, and have an opportunity to get to know other agents. So we specifically invite agents who are new to the Market Center. If you have joined us in the last couple of months, this is a great opportunity for you to come and get to know some of our established agents and start building those relationships. But it is also open to all. So if you have been here for 6 months, 6 years, and want to join us at Confection and Connection, we would love to have you here. So it is Wednesday from 4 to 5, very casual, kind of a social hour, but also a great time if you're up against something in your business, if you're curious about something, if you want, if you want to pick some really brilliant brains in the industry, you'll have an opportunity to do that as well. And we have a CE opportunity on the 22nd from 10:30 to 12:30. Jack Andrews from Edge Homes is going to be presenting a CE class. You may have noticed if you attended the market forecast breakfast, the heavy emphasis on new construction and the importance of really understanding how new construction is going to impact our recovery, pricing, affordability, our inventory woes, and what opportunities there are in new construction. Most builders are offering incentives that really do help with that affordability issue and with getting buyers off of the fence. So this is a great opportunity to learn more about working with new construction, build that relationship with one of the builders in our area, and perhaps get some tips and information on how to build those relationships with more builders and get CE credit. So we are very excited to be live in Las Vegas with those of you who are attending Family Reunion in person. We will have a couple of opportunities to see some of the core sessions live streamed here at the Market Center for those of you who can't make it out to Vegas this time. So most of Family Reunion is not being presented virtually. They have, as we have moved out of the pandemic time, shifted to just presenting live. However, the vision speech that Gary presents, where he talks about the state of our company, as well as the state of the market, and the inspirational morning that Mo Anderson presents will both be available live stream, and we will have watch party here at the office. So you can watch, I believe both of them will be available for you to watch through Command. Connect.
Connect. Yeah, and so if you log into mykw.kw.com.
I'm gonna talk into the.
Oh, yes. So if you log into mykw.kw.com, it should be like on the front of the screen. You should be able to just click and stream it.
Perfect. Or come and watch it here with your friends and KW family.
At 7 a.m.
That's not correct.
But isn't it,
No, Central Time, so it's actually 9.
no, it said PT time on there.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, so that's what, sorry,
So
maybe it's
so
not.
it's 9. PT would mean 9.
Oh, okay. I'm really good at dates.
We love that.
That's fine.
Yes, so we'll fix the slide, but it is going to be 9 until 12:30, right? Yeah,
That is fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mountain Standard Time, 9 to 12:30, Pacific Time, 8 to 11:30. And then the inspirational morning is 10 until 11:30 Mountain Standard Time. And that's on Thursday. And then last Thursday of the month is, as always, Haps and Apps. It's always a good time. So if you haven't come out and joined us for a Haps and Apps, maybe make February your month to do that. We usually have a good group of agents, 6 to 10 to 12, really depends on the month. And just fun conversation, good social time. This industry can be a little bit like working on an island sometimes, can be a little isolating. And so the more we can connect with one another and support each other, the more successful we end up in all areas. So please join us for that. All right, coming soon. Who has listings coming soon that they are ready to share about? One.
We have a condo coming up for sale in Saratoga Springs, 2-car garage, 3-bed, 2-bath. And it's gonna be listed for $325.
Excellent. When does that hit market?
There you go, next week. Next week.
Excellent. All right. Who else? Liz?
It's really coming soon because it came about an hour ago, so it's probably not on the list listed, but I got it live an hour ago. So it's a cute little condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Oh, don't hold me to the baths. Out in West Valley. See, too new for me to remember everything. $299,900, I think. Cute.
Who else? You know, I saw other hands.
Oh,
Got Sherry in the back.
Oh, part of West Valley.
Ask good questions.
Too fast. And Provo will be 4 beds, 2 bath. It's Vineyard, Provo area, so on the west side of the freeway, but it's close to, UVU, so it would be a great rental property. How much? 479, 489. We haven't settled on a price yet, but it should go live towards the end of the week next week, but I'll send out something or tell you next Tuesday exactly what it is, but.
Perfect. Anything else? Going once? Going twice? Any buyer needs that are really difficult right now? Anything that you've been looking for and not seen? There was someone in particular I was watching for that one.
I'm trying to identify a 1031 property by Friday. Ideally, it's close to 500,000 plus. If you guys have anything, really looking in Salt Lake County, east side of the I-15 freeway, single family could be in terrible shape. The uglier the better. Anything though at this point, so thank you.
Any other buyer needs?
Hey, Robin, was that said 1031 property?
That's Danielle.
Okay, thank you. Rob, Danielle,
Danielle Leonardo, I guess I should clarify. We have a
Tony.
All right. So we have 7 new listings taken this week. Danielle Vaughn's has, is that just price?
Yes.
Not one. That is very cool. All right, so Danielle has a listing for 1.2 million. So congratulations, Danielle. Mike Kesslock has 3 new listings this week. Jordan Larson has a new listing this week. Joe Reardon, and then Kim and Flavia Orlandini all have new listings this week. So let's give them all a round of applause.
Right.
And then welcome to, and Leonardo or Hildebrand?
I just changed it, so it's Leonardo now.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure which direction we were going. So, this is Danielle, and she just joined us at the end of last month. Danielle runs a great book of business as well as having her own investments, and we're really thrilled to have her here. So thank you. And then welcome to McCall, who will be working with Lori Gee and the Gee Group. McCall joins us from, she was with the Perry Group at Real previously, and she brings great energy. She's newer in the industry, has done some great things so far, and I'm really excited to see what she does in partnering with Lori. And then our agent of the week is Yariv. So Yariv, will you come up and join us? So if you haven't gotten the chance to get to know why, do yourself a favor and swing over by the Utah Casa Group corner. They're back there on the west wing, and the energy and personality, as well as just business acumen and service that Y brings to his business and to our market center is really just commendable. And I am so grateful to be in business with him. And he is our regional ambassador for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So what he wants to talk to you all about is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm going to let him do it in just 1 minute. But first, I would really love to just talk to you a little bit about your business and what you're working on in this market, the success that you've already accomplished, and then how you can kind of be of service to any agents that have a need with your niche. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
So how long have you been in the industry?
7 years.
And where did you join KW?
Across the street, Century 21X.
And I was looking through my emails, and I think it was 3 times that you told me that you weren't going to come to any of our events. And thank you very much, but please stop bugging you. He said it nicer than that. but that's your little reminder that, you know, it's the timing's not right until the timing is right, and don't necessarily take things too seriously until then. What is it that made the timing right for you? What made it so that you decided that KW is where you wanted to do your business?
So we started a real estate team last year, and upon starting the team, we felt very lost. We didn't have any models, systems, strategies, everything that, if you've been here for a while, you know Keller Williams offers that. And eventually at that time, I was getting coached by Kathy Moore. Kathy obviously is a Keller Williams baby her whole life. And eventually she's the one that planted the seed, like, oh, you would do really good over there. You should go over there. They have everything that you're looking for. And yeah, eventually we transitioned last year, the month of May, into Keller Williams. Yeah.
And what has that transition been like for you? What have you, maybe what surprised you about your move here?
Well, it's been completely chaotic and stressful, if I'm being honest.
I appreciate honesty.
Yeah, that's the truth. You know, you come here and you're like, F, what have I been doing for the past few years of my career? But we have tried plugging in as fast as we can, as much as we can. Last year we did a lot of that, and now we're currently 10 closings year to date into this month, and we have several more pending. So we're starting to see the fruits of us plugging into the Keller Williams system.
How
Yes,
many in your team?
there's 3 of us,
And you all three moved
the
over?
3 amigos.
Three amigos, you all moved over?
Yes, we all moved over.
Did you ever work at Allstate?
I didn't. No, I worked for Farmers Insurance a long time ago.
Farmers?
Yeah. And Lavinia's back there. She's one of our amazing agents. She's from España, so you guys like some spice. That is not España, that is Mexico.
Looking at. Hello.
Utah Casa Group, when they first joined KW, it's the group that when their picture would come up on the slide deck, I would be asked, like, do you have to be a model to be on Utah Casa Group? Because it's a very.
No, you just have to know some telenovelas.
So what would you say your secret sauce is? You have an incredible relationship with your clients. I would, at least from looking on the outside, I feel like we do a lot with building trust and then helping navigate the strategies for your clients to participate in the American dream. What works for you with that?
I think our secret sauce is that we embrace our culture and we embrace our niche, which is the Latino market. It's that simple, you know, 80–90% of our clientele organically is Latinos. It's who we work with, it's who comes to us, it's who we get referred to. And we embrace that wholeheartedly. Believe it or not, there are Latino agents out there who don't want to work with Latinos. Or who don't want to, you know, if I'm Mexican, I might say, I don't want to work with Mexicans. That's a thing in our culture. But we embrace it. And it's been a beautiful thing. And we truly love helping Latinos, just like how Coco loves helping the Latino community. It really comes from the bottom of our heart to empower this community and help them participate in real estate wealth as well. Yes.
Why is it a thing that some do not want to embrace it?
I have no idea. You know, there's just there's a lot of stories, whatever the story is that you're telling. You know, like, oh, they're cheap, or they don't have status, and so I don't want to work with them, or whatever the story may be.
I was just wondering.
Yeah.
If I can add something.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of what he said. A lot of the Latino community, they're opting in the lower price range.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are I-10, which we have closed a lot of I-10 buyers. It's more complicated. So I think they just take more work. They're also really amazing people. They're super, super hard workers. So they work really long hours and a lot. So you have to constantly chase them and call them sometimes at night, whenever, but they're so worth it. You know what I mean?
Hey, that really clears it up.
Yeah.
I was just curious. It's kind of like
Yeah.
for me, not really wanting to work with friends and family too much,
Yeah,
even though that's an SOI.
yeah.
I've had a lot of, things happen that makes me a little
Yeah,
nervous of doing it.
yeah, they're just like, sometimes they're harder transactions, and you have to work a lot for it, but, that is just a reality of it, that is, working too long.
They'll pay you time and time again with the referrals, and eventually you'll help them upgrade and eventually they'll get investments and it pays 10x over time.
And I think one of the things that I'm thinking of as you talk about this is just how important it is to understand the culture and the specific problems that any group that you are focused on working with have. Whether that is a profession or a cultural group or an age. We had our Kappa Mastermind last week, and that's one of the things that we talked about is just identifying what are the problems facing this group specifically with their real estate needs, and then how can you get ahead of that and have the creative solutions for that. And I feel like that's something that you've really done, that it's beyond language, it's beyond the fact that you're a Spanish speaking team, you're a team that understands a lot of the issues that are faced, that people in that culture face, and the dynamics of that. And you understand the context of that, like, okay, they work long hours, and so it's gonna be harder for me to get a hold of them. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily blowing me off, or whatever the case may be. And I think there's just an importance to that.
I think that a lot of people forget how good the American dream is. People take it for granted, really, how good life is here. And instead of us getting caught up with rates and their high and lows, we sell people on the American dream. We remind them of it, of the importance of homeownership, of why this is important. And once we shift that focus from rates are high, I want to wait for the market to crash or whatever, and we're like, hey, let's talk about the dream. Like, why did you come here? Why are you here? Who's here with you? And then all of a sudden the focus shifts and there's a priority now to really try to get into a home as soon as possible. Once we do that, then it opens up the doors for us to really allow us to educate them and help them understand why this is important now, not necessarily later.
So I mentioned that you're the regional ambassador for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Share with us a little bit, what does that mean, and how might we get involved in some of the things that the region is going to be focused on, specifically with diversity, equity, and inclusion this year?
Yeah, so this is just like a newer group in Keller Williams to highlight or emphasize diversity in our nation, in our brokerage, in our communities. And they do it through diversity. They have a bunch of affinity groups, is what they call them. Have you heard of affinity groups before? You guys know what they are? Okay, awesome.
So we need to do a better job of getting that message out.
So hopefully we can highlight an affinity group at least once a week in the slides, but I didn't know this either. I'm still new to Keller Williams. But an affinity group really is just a group that you feel you could belong to. There's a LGBTQ, sorry, what is it?
Yeah,
LGBT.
LGBTQ.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that, there's a Persian group. I didn't know there's a Persian group. There's obviously there's like 2 Hispanic groups. There's women leaders,
Lady leaders.
lady leaders. I'm still learning them, but there's over 10 different kinds of groups. We're gonna be, with Kimber, we're gonna be working on putting what these groups are in our offices. That way everybody can start becoming familiarized with what is available to you, what community you want to be a part of, contribute to. And really, it just helps you become more aware of other different cultures who are also pursuing the dream, how you can help and how you can become involved.
So you and your team are in a unique position to help agents that may have leads, referrals that are a part of the Latino community, especially if there's a language barrier. Real estate is hard enough to explain in your native language. If you are not fluent in the language that any of your potential consumers may have as their first language, please consider working with an agent who is and referring that business. It's in the best interest of the client. It's in the best interest of you and of the brokerage. And so, share a little bit about, how your team might be able to support if there are Spanish-speaking clients that come through.
Yes, so just by raise of hands, how many of you actually do come across Spanish speakers in your prospecting? Awesome. How many of you have someone to refer to? One or two? Okay, awesome. I know that I've talked to a lot of agents here who have referred their Spanish referrals somewhere. They're like, I never hear back. I never get an update. It just seems like it doesn't go anywhere. I think the difference is we're one of the few that really embrace our culture and we really do call the people and we'll keep you updated. But just for fun, I have some gift cards here. How many of you, and if you guess close or try, I'll give you one of these, but how many of you can tell me what percentage of homeownership was bought last year by Latinos? Coco can.
I was gonna.
We'll see, we'll give Coco an opportunity towards the end, but to those of you who are not aware, what would your guess be?
26.
26? Okay, hold on. You said 26. I'm just gonna give you a gift card for participating.
Oh, thanks.
See, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you. All right. 16. One more.
20.
20, 27. Coco, what is it?
55%.
Wow.
55% of homeownership last year was purchased by Latinos in the US. It's expected to go to 70% in the next 10, 15 years, right?
They don't care about rates.
They don't care about rates, they care about the possibility. And so every person that you're talking to that you come across, we'd love to contact them and help them get to the finish line. They're not always ready. There's a lot of obstacles that come up, like status, right? When she said ITIN, do you guys know what ITIN is? Yes, perfect, about 50%. ITIN is basically a way that you pay taxes with it while being here undocumented in the US, right? Uncle Sam still wants his cut. And so just want you to know that we'd love to earn your business and take care of your Spanish referrals for you.
You'll include contact info and the recap email. I got some flyers here, looking all
Yeah, we'll
on the
that.
flyers, so you can see what I'm talking about with the model status of the topic group.
Yes.
One more question.
Yeah.
On that referral, if I brought you business, is it a typical referral fee or how does that work?
Yeah, so on the paper, it says 20%
Oh,
for each referral closed.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I mean, we get these a lot. There's so many people from Century 21 that just to this day, even though they know I'm here, they're always texting me numbers, names. Hey, can you call this person? Can you call this person? And of course, there's 3 of us on a team, so we're able to handle more.
And really, especially with language barriers, they're able to actually take a lead and convert them. Whereas a lot of times if you're sending a referral, you've built a relationship, you set everything up, and then you are handing it to someone else. This is an opportunity that you can lean into them to be part of that conversion piece as well.
Yeah, don't leave money on the table, right? This is a good way to make some extra cash.
55%.
55. Yes.
I went to a beauty school recently to get my nails done and there were 2 Latino women and I asked them if they had homes. And I knew I wouldn't be able to converse with them because I had to get someone to, translate. But I knew that I would find somebody here that can help. So I'm already on it a little bit. So now I'll be on it even more.
I love it.
Yeah, our contact info is there, also in the email, and we're always found on the very back corner. That is our duck.
Okay.
And I would like to add that we really go at it, like we usually, when somebody sends us a referral, we try to contact them in the next like month, like 9 to 10 times. And if we don't get a hold of them, then we will check on them again every like 3 months or so. So if we know that they are so hard to get a hold of, so my point is that if you send us the referrals, we really are gonna try 100% to get a hold of them. Until they tell us, never mind, I'm not interested, leave us alone, but.
Yeah, and we have a good system. We'll tag your name on command to know who sent it. That way it doesn't get lost. We want to make sure you're taken care of if you're taking care of us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. We didn't get to birthdays last month or last week, so we're gonna hit it today. We're going first name. Do I just have one page of?
Yeah, one
Names.
page for birthdays and then.
All right, I'm turning off my microphone. Y'all have got to sing loud. Are you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy birthday, dear.
Luke, Karen, Zach, and Hannah. Happy birthday to you. We're very glad you were born. And then happy anniversary to agents that are celebrating their anniversary with us. Jessica, Mel, Margaret, Mac, Tisha, Tina, Hannah, Tiffany, Myra, and Maria. We are also very glad that you are with us. So we're going to break down some of the stats from the housing forecast over the next several team meetings and just talk through how we have these conversations, how we use these stats in our presentations, and how we are posting them online. And so the stat that we're going to workshop today, there's two. One is housing prices rarely decline in Utah. And if you see over the history since 1977, we've only had 2 periods of time where we've had a decline in home prices and only one that it was a significant decline. So this is a stat to use when you are talking to someone that has said that they're going to wait for prices to go down to move forward. If you look at how things have gone through history, it is likely that they're going to be waiting a very long time. When you have a feeling that prices aren't going to drop and they have a feeling that prices are going to drop, you have 2 conflicting feelings. When they have a feeling that prices are going to drop and you have data showing that prices are not going to drop, it changes the timbre of the conversation. And so acknowledging that it makes sense that they would feel that way. We had, you can see, a pretty meteoric rise with prices over the last, couple of years after 2020, almost a 40% increase in housing prices. And so it makes sense that what people would feel is, okay, this has been such a huge rise, we're going to have to see this drop. What may surprise you and what honestly surprised a lot of economists, can you flip to the next slide for me? Is that in 2023, when we had fewer homes sold than any year since 1995, and coming off of that meteoric rise, and with interest rates at what feels like an all-time high, considering what they came from, we only had a 2.8% decrease in the market. We only had a 2.8% decrease in housing prices with all of those factors. And so, can we go back to the previous one? So understanding how infrequently prices actually decline in Utah, and understanding that they only went down 2.8% when we had all of those factors working against the market. And projections are that interest rates are going to go down this year and we're going to see more inventory. What do you think is the most likely scenario with prices? So that's the conversation and how you would use this in overcoming an objection. What I want to workshop, so grab a piece of paper if you got it, phone to take notes if not, is how you would put this into a post. Because the feedback that I'm getting from agents is we get this data, but I'm just not sure, how do I tell the story of the data?
How about a copy of that graph? That looks pretty good.
Yep, graph looks great, graph looks great.
It's eye-catching.
Mhm. And if you post that graph without any story or explanation behind it, it is still not going to resonate with the consumer. They will look at it and say, oh, that's interesting, there's some colors, and that's what's happening with the housing market. But not necessarily an understanding of what does this mean to me. So anytime you are sharing data, anytime you're sharing a stat, you want to take it back to what does it mean to this person that I am sharing it with? What is the problem that this offers a solution to? What is the question that this offers clarity to? What is the objection that this overcomes? What does this mean to them? And it's going to mean something different if you are a homeowner thinking about selling versus if you are a buyer. Hold one second, let me get through this because I'm just worried about time and then I'll get questions at the end. It's going to mean something different if you're a homeowner or if you're a buyer. So one is just knowing your audience. When you are putting together a post or you're doing a video, you want to start with the hook. So too often we start our posts with blah, blah, blah stat, and that doesn't hook somebody in. Or in videos, and I'm certainly guilty of this one, we'll start with, hi, I'm Robin Eccles with Keller Williams, and blah, 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 blah. That's not what you want to start with. You want to start with something that is going to hook them in. So take a minute and just on the paper that you have to flesh this out, throw out a couple of possible hooks you could use if you were creating a post about this stat. Some that I have thought of with this would be, are you waiting for the market to crash to move forward? If so, you're not alone. A recent study by LendingTree, a recent survey, found that 44% of Americans believed that it was possible our housing market would crash in the next year. And more than a third of them are actually rooting for it. And that sounds dark, but it makes sense. Housing affordability is a challenge right now. And for a lot of people, the concern is if housing prices don't go down, they're not going to be able to get into the market. So there's good news and bad news. If you're waiting for the crash, the bad news is, I just don't really see that it's coming. So let me show you what. If you look since 1977, we've only had 2 periods of time, blah, 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 blah. That's when you go into the stat. Now, the good news is having the market crash is not the only way to achieve affordability. And this is something that we're all spending a lot of time and focus on in creating strategies to make homes more affordable. There are incentives being offered by new construction. We anticipate that we will see interest rates go down. The Fed has told us that they will cut rates this year. And there are some options with buy down that can make rate affordable now. So that took us through hook, introduction, supporting information. So the next part of your post or your video is going to be the stats and the story that you are sharing. The more you can make this story driven, the better. So if you have had a client that was waiting for the bottom to fall out in the housing market or they moved forward, but then they sat down and realized that while that wasn't really likely because all of this is the market dynamic, we could negotiate for their rates to be bought down. And so we found a great home. We negotiated them to below market rate, and they're excited to move forward in their new home, and now they get to take advantage of this appreciation that is going to happen as time moves forward. So if you've got a story like that, absolutely, this is a great format to use it. This is a great format to use it when you do video. This is a great format to use it in long form prose. After your supporting information, then you go to the call to action. So what would the call to action be if you were sharing that information?
You'd like to know how this personally affects you, give me a call and we can sit down to look at your buying power or options on what affordability means to you specifically here in Houston.
Yes, did y'all hear that?
I want to say it again.
Say it one more time. I was gonna re-say it, but I think it's better for you to do it.
If you are interested in seeing how this impacts your affordability or ability for housing here in Utah, give me a call. We can set up a time to discuss, recognize you, things, anything to make it about them.
Yep. And with your call to action, decide how you want them to reach out and give them that one option. Sometimes our call to action gets a little bit lengthy, like call me here or text me there or send me an email, or you can send me a DM, or I can see smoke signals as long as you're to the west. Like it's a little bit too much. And when there's a decision to be made, like, we get in major decision fatigue. I know I cannot be the only one who gets to the end of the day and the thought of just even having to decide what to have for dinner is too much. So take that decision fatigue away, give them one thing to do. So shoot me a message and we can talk more about this, or call me or text, whatever your preferred form of communication is going to be, give them the one thing. If they never, ever want to speak on the phone and your call to action is call me, they will still send you a message on Instagram if you posted this to Instagram. Like they will still default to their preferred form of communication. But as far as what you are prompting, you want to go with one thing and keep that really consistent. Questions, thoughts? Okay, my challenge to you is to take one of the stats that we have talked about. It can be a stat that we talked about last week in the meeting. It could be the market at a glance stats that you receive every week. It could be something from the forecast or from the regional market update, but pick a stat and go through this process with it. Extra brownie points if you actually post it. Super extra brownie points, i.e. more leads and referrals, if you shoot a video and post that. But at very least, map out what you would post if you were willing to post, so that you can start building the skill of turning those stats into conversation. Sound good?
So this is on KW, we could go to and find that.
So those stats that I used were from the market forecast breakfast. These ones were from James Woods. Those are available on the Salt Lake Board of Realtors Facebook page. We can also probably download those and send them out.
Yeah, we can do that. That's.
Okay, so we'll download those and send them out so that you have all of the slides from that
So
forecast.
I've been
breakfast.
trying to post things like that, but I'm not doing it the right way with the hook and the intro and the story and the call to action and all that. So that's why I'm not getting very many.
So the good news is you're in good company, because I think that's pretty common. And so now it's time to start working through that and finding the formula that drives engagement. All right. Really quick comment on this in case you saw this article and hit panic or have received calls and had any sort of panic. So in the continuation of these commission-driven lawsuits that have been happening nationwide, we have had our first case filed here in Utah. Our brokerage is not named in the case, but there are 2 KW offices that are. It is our understanding and expectation that the settlement that KW agreed to prevents situations exactly like this and is a big part of why Gary Keller chose to take that settlement. Our leadership is in calls with Keller Williams daily, sort of navigating this and figuring out exactly what's moving forward. But if you have people who are asking, my soundbite response has just been exactly that. It's my understanding that the settlement that KW agreed to protects us from these situations. But we're letting the legal teams work through it, and I'll let you know if there's anything else.
So it's kind of like a witch hunt now and everybody's just kind of jumping on the bandwagon and
Yeah.
being,
And it
being
will be,
pissy and pissed off.
well, listen, I don't want to diminish it because I think that there is always room to improve. And I never want to diminish something that could improve us as an industry. And I think that there are issues with how commissions have been disclosed. More issues out of state. I feel like Utah actually did a pretty good job of getting ahead of this with contracts, but there should be transparency to the consumer. And so anywhere that hasn't been the case, hold a microscope up to us. Like, yes, let's address this and get better. And a lot of this is just opportunistic. And as soon as a case goes through and finds in favor of the plaintiffs, then we will see a lot more copycat cases and people making a run on, is there some money here? And so the best thing that we can do is just tune out the noise with it. Sometimes there will be things happening in our industry that I suggest you tune out the noise, and it's because there's no validity to it. Other times, there are things that I'm going to suggest you tune out the noise because there is nothing actionable for us to do with it right now. This one's the latter. I do anticipate we will see some real long-standing change in our industry. I do not hallucinate that that change will mean that buyer's agents aren't getting commissions, or that, fill in your deep, dark, scary scenario here. I don't believe that will be the change. But I do believe that there will be change, and we will address that and set strategy around it once there's something to actually work with. But in the meantime, all that it can do is distract us from focusing on what we need to do.
I'm always amazed at how many people out there don't even realize that real estate agents do not get paid for all the things that they do. And they can spend months working with buyers. And if you let the buyers run you ragged, they will.
Yeah.
And they don't even seem to understand.
Yeah, and
Or caring.
I'm gonna be honest, to a certain degree, it's not their job to care or
Yeah,
understand.
that's true.
I don't care or understand how my orthodontist
But
gets
we're
paid.
making it.
I
sellers.
we are the center of our own universe. And I take issue when the messaging is, we work so hard and we barely make $5 at the end of a transaction. Like, gag me, please don't ever post that. Like, and if you're not making more than $5 at the end of a transaction, my office is right around the corner. Let's sit down and talk, because your profitability is whack and we need to fix it. We do have the opportunity to make an incredible income in this industry, and that's not a bad thing.
But it's always on the seller's back.
No, I don't.
Oh,
agree
it
with that.
isn't?
I don't agree with that. And you have to be really careful about how
Oh,
you position.
No, I'm just talking to you about.
Yeah, no,
I'm
but
talking
just
to-
between you and I, no, it's not. Commissions are, if you represent a buyer, the buyer's commission is a buyer's cost. By and large, in our industry, the seller has covered that cost for the buyer. Just like in some markets, the seller will cover some or all of the buyer's closing costs. It doesn't mean that those are the seller's closing costs. They are still the buyer's costs. It is the cost of them getting a loan. The buyer's commission is the cost of a buyer being represented It is just that somebody else in the transaction has negotiated and been willing to cover that for them. But I think that's a part of what needs to change in the dialogue. It needs to be clearly understood. And we need to not be afraid of saying, yeah, I represent buyers and this is my fee. And for some reason, that's, if you were in a listing presentation, I don't see that people are trying to make it appear that they are working for free. But somewhere in our industry, we created this dynamic where a lot of, not all, but a lot of agents, when they are representing a buyer, want it to appear that it is free. And it is not. I don't work for free. And none of y'all should work for free. Jason, do you have a comment or?
I just want to make a comment on that. You know, with Robin's guidance and Chris, my team lead, I just went under contract for a Home Eagle Mountain 765 and negotiated 3% commission, it was 2%.
Congratulations.
Exactly with what you're saying. Thank you. Don't think that you work for free. I mean, you can approach it to each individual how you can do, but I mean, it's, and especially, I was gonna say, also on buyers right now. It's hard. You gotta negotiate right, especially with what's going on. I just lost an 11 offer deal and I came super strong with it. So I thought I was gonna get it. It would have been a great weekend, but it's okay. So you gotta like, you gotta bounce and decide what's worth it and figure out, what you can do. But yeah, you're not free and you can, just have that in your back pocket. If you need to negotiate, you can, but don't go, because the other team that I used to be for, that was kind of something we used to, hey, it's admin fee and I'm free, but you keep yourself into a hard spot. I find a house at 1.5%, you're like, okay, so put it in your buyer broker, whatever you feel comfortable.
And I just also have to ask, like, how many things have you received in your life that were free and that they just came out of the gate and said, here's a free thing and here's a free thing, that you put the same value in it as something that you invested in? I have a hard time of thinking of anything that I have the same sort of value. And so we can negotiate and find ways to make it affordable. We can structure the transaction so that you are coming out of pocket with the minimal amount, but you're not free. You're not the ketchup, you're the guacamole, like, you're not free. And you will have a better relationship with your clients and enjoy your career more when you really understand and embrace that and hold that value. All right, we are gonna move on, and is our preferred vendor ready? We've got the party crew here today. Yes, yeah, you sure can.
So just to piggyback, what's your name?
Chase.
Chase. So just to piggyback off what Chase said, I got a referral, and the first time I sat down with them and we explained the commission fee and that my fee is 3%. And all those things, I said, sometimes the seller will take that on and sometimes they won't. And so they ended up going under contract on a new construction down in Mapleton. And they found out that they were paying the builders were paying 2%. And they were ecstatic that they only had to pay 1%. So I'm still making the 3%, 2 from the builder, 1 from the buyer, but they knew that going into it, that they were gonna possibly be paying it.
Yeah, it's amazing, just that reframing. And I think sometimes the hesitation on talking about it is, well, but other agents out there are creating the perception that they work for free, and so then I'm having to compete with free. Use that to your advantage. If they bring that up, that is a great time to say, I've got to tell you, this is one of my pet peeves, because I feel like this sort of gets like slid under the radar and positioned such that buyers feel like it's free, when any commission that a buyer's agent is receiving comes at some cost to the buyer. And so this is how it is structured. This is how we put it together. And any agent that you work with is going to have a buyer broker agreement with this same verbiage. And that sets you apart as somebody who is transparent, someone who is honest, someone who's going to prepare them for what this process is like, rather than someone who's trying to sneak it in. And the kind of agent you want to be anyway. It's the kind of agent they want to work with, but it's also just the kind of. All right, I am going to stop talking because some of my favorite people are here sponsoring our team meeting today. So thank you for being our lunch sponsor and for being here, and tell us all a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hey guys, so my name is Alex. I'm Eric. And we're with Diamond Perfection Home and Property Inspections. So we're a team of home inspectors. It's nice seeing being here in front of some of you guys that we work with. So a little bit about us for those that don't know us. We're a team of six inspectors now. We're all bilingual in English. We're able to generate reports and do the walkthroughs in English and Spanish. We're a one-stop shop.
We also do cover the whole state of Utah, so our office is here based in South Jordan, but we've gone all the way down to St. George and all the way up to the Logan area, so we do the whole thing. And we try to leave one of our inspectors with a more flexible schedule, just to even get like next day home inspections, anything like that. Like if you guys have a short diligence period, we're able to make those quick inspections work as well.
And like I was mentioning, we're a one-stop shop, so anything inspection related, whether that's meth, sewer scopes, radon, lead-based paint, whatever it is that you guys need inspection related, we all do in-house. And so we're able to provide a really quick turnaround time on any of those. And yeah, that's a little bit about us. If you guys have any questions, we're more than happy to answer.
Bilingual, report in Spanish and English. 55% of home buyers are the Latino community. Chase.
I use these guys on every single house. They're awesome.
Thanks, Chase.
Another testimonial, he just did one for me yesterday. They're amazing.
Whose mom can cook? Rob and I and Hannah, your guys.
Well, both of our moms can cook.
Okay, well.
Yeah, this is being recorded. You better
Yeah.
clarify that. Anybody else on the team whose mom can cook?
I don't think
We're the record.
For us, when we were at Baldwin.
mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That's.
Yeah, so yes,
Yeah, we use these guys too, and they're amazing. Highly recommend them.
thank you guys for your wonderful words. And yeah, if you guys want to try my mom's cooking, let me know.
But you do such a great job. But you do such a great job. You don't even have to come in and present. You just come up and everyone else talks about how great you are. And that is the sign of growing a great business. So thank you, and thank you for being here. Let's give a round of applause.
We also some food over there. It's not my mom's cooking.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, I'm not gonna stand between realtors and food, so we are going to get through 75 hard real quick. Show of hands, who is already accomplishing, let's actually move back that up. Show of hands, who in 2023 closed as many transactions, same volume, same income that they want to close in 2024? And yet we're gonna do bigger and better things. So, for everybody else, this is for you. Danielle, you can listen, or you can go get some food if you want to get started. I just want to be really, really clear that if you want to accomplish something different this year than you accomplished last year, something has to change. I know this seems like duh, and yet so often when I am having consulting conversations and when we are looking at growth, there's this resistance and this feeling of, no, I am talking to this many people and I'm making this many phone calls and this is what my schedule is and it should work. And if the results are it's not working, something has to change. So there are 3 areas that could change. Sometimes it's just one, usually it's a combination of all 3. Who knows what are the 3 things that you've got to change if you want different results this year than you got last year?
Habits.
Habits. That's the big one. Habits. Time management would fall somewhat into habits.
Mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah. No, I'm a bro. I'm a bro.
That was very throwy. And what is the 3rd one?
Strategy.
It's the skills that pay the bills. So I'd like to do a quick gut check. Where is the misalignment from the goal that you are heading towards? Are your current habits the habits of somebody who is accomplishing what you're looking to accomplish, achieving what you're looking to achieve? Are you running that schedule? Do you have those habits? Is that something that's just baked into every day? That if somebody watched your habits and knew nothing else, they would say, yeah, that's someone who's achieving at that level. And if there's a misalignment there, where's the misalignment? Because it's usually not like, okay, all of my habits are garbage and it's a dumpster fire and we've got to start from scratch. Like usually there's some fundamentals that are working, but then there's some tweaking that needs to happen. So what are the habits that needs to be tweaked? How about your mindset? How is your mindset different from somebody that's already accomplishing what you are looking to accomplish? What are they doing to build and protect their mindset that you're not? What are the conversations that they're having with themselves? What are they listening to? What are they reading? Who are they surrounding themselves with? And where's the difference?
Robin,
Yes.
2 seconds on the mindset.
Mhm.
For me, it has been like, is my pain point higher being poor? Or like just getting on that phone call and being uncomfortable? And that's like, it's just been that real quick switch.
Sometimes it's been creating that sort of binary choice for yourself and really clarifying. Yeah, I can choose to be a weenie and be scared about being on the phone, and then I am choosing to be poor. And that is a choice I am making. Or I can choose different. I love that. And then skills. If you had to identify what is the one skill that you could build over the next, let's say 90 days, that would make the biggest difference in your business, what would it be? Is it closing? Is it strategy? Is there a specific type of transaction you need to become better at working with? Is it pricing? Taking listings? There are so many different skills that you can focus on, but what I would love for you to boil this down to is what is the one that would make the biggest difference right now? And now we're going to do a quick self-assessment. So on that scratch paper or in your phone, I'd like you to just rate yourself 1 to 10 in each of these areas. And we're going to go quickly because I know that there's food waiting. 1 is, this is not a part of my life at all. I have absolutely no success track record with this or understanding of it. And then 10 is, I could teach a masterclass, call Gary Keller. I need to be on stage talking about this at the next family meeting. Okay. So managing your time. 1 to 10. Managing your time. Prospecting and lead generation. So including calls, texts, DMs, PMs, prospecting and lead generation. Database management. 1 to 10. Where are you with database management? Pre-qualifying sellers. Lead follow-up and lead conversion. Listing appointments. Pricing property and presenting price. Pricing property and presenting price, and I would add to that, in the current market. Seller communication and price reductions. Objection handling. Negotiations and closing. Buyer and offer consultation. Business planning. Sales language and dialogues. Customer experience. Mindset and resilience. Money management and profitability. If you do not have a P&L that you are looking at monthly for your business, that score better not be above a 5. Social media and video. Hosting open houses. Marketing and digital media. Accountability and discipline. All right. So a couple of things you can do with these results. One is to look at that total number and know that it's out of 200 possible points. So if you add those all up and then you divide your score by 200, that gives you a grade. Now, this grade is not to make you feel sick, bad, and wrong. I know we've got a lot of overachievers here, and so anything below an A is not going to feel great. But I would challenge you to actually feel great about that, because if you were getting an A and your results aren't where you want them, that's a problem. But if you're not getting an A and your results aren't where you want them, that's great news, because we just need to get your grades to an A and then you can have your results. So that's one thing you can look at with this. Secondly, I'd love you to look and see where is your highest score. And if you've got a tie between a few, what's the highest score that you see that makes the biggest difference in your business? Where are you really winning? And circle that. That's a skill or a habit that you can double down on to increase your results more rapidly, and that you can tie the areas that you are not as strong to in order to cut the learning curve on those. And then finally, look at your lowest scores and identify which one would make that biggest difference. If you were to spend 90 days just getting right with that, what would it do for your business? And start that one. So this week, you will be getting a call to invite you to join our 75 Hard Challenge. Yep, that's the appropriate face, Blake. It is going to be a challenge. It is going to be outside of your comfort zone, and that's by design, because all growth happens outside of the comfort zone. And I am committed to your growth. I am committed to your success. I cannot be more committed than you are. And so I'm going to ask all of you to step into your excellence, to take a deep breath, to make the face that Blake made, and then to accept the challenge. For 75 days, we will be taking on daily mindset, skill, and habit building. It is going to all be things that you are doing in your business already, or at least that would show up on your calendar if I looked at them. It will be bite sizes, and the time invested, including lead generation time, is really not more than 2 hours any given day. If you cannot spend 2 hours working on your business every day, my office is right around the corner. Come talk to me because we've got a major problem. Like, that's not even part-time. So it will be things that you should be doing already, things that are in your business plan already, focused in these 3 areas, specifically for what you are focusing on, but with the support of a community. So I am going through a 75 hard challenge right now. I felt like if I was going to bring this to you all, I got to go through and do it myself. I paid $1,000 to do my 75 hard challenge. I will get my $1,000 back on the 75th day when I have followed through every single day and done what I'm supposed to do. I am not saying that you have to pay $1,000 to participate, or that you have to risk losing $1,000. But ask yourself, like, am I really putting it out there on the line that I would be willing to do that? I mean, to Blake's point, like, I can make these calls or I can be broke. That's a pretty big reality and debt check. And it's important that you have those types of things, that type of clarity in your life. For some people, just knowing that you're going to be broke is not quite enough. And you have to have some sort of an external consequence if you don't do it. If that is you, I would strongly suggest being honest with yourself about that and find somebody else who's willing to have that sort of accountability with you. I know that for me, I've had in the past times that I had a check written out to an organization that I absolutely could not stand. Back when we had checks, I don't know if I really even find a check anymore. That I knew would go in the mail and be sent to them if I had a day that I didn't reach my commitment. You can believe I reached my commitment every single day. I've had teammates that had agreements that they were going to sing karaoke when they were deathly afraid of being in front of people. Again, you do not have to add that element to your 75 hard, but if you know about yourself that on day 14, you're going to get a case of the I don't wannas, and if you don't have something that's looming over you, that case of the I don't wannas is going to win. Be honest with yourself up front, find an accountability partner, and make it so that you can really take advantage of this. The first 30 days of your 75 hard challenge, your business is not going to look any different. Yay, that's exciting. The second 30 days, you might start to see some differences. At 90 days, it's going to be crystal clear what you've been spending your time. And that happens to put your results coming in right as we move into the selling season. So if you choose to take on the 75 hard challenge and you've laid this groundwork and you are cashing in when we hit selling season, I want you to compare that to what people are going to experience that are hibernating through this winter and kind of sort of shoulda maybe getting things together and thinking about it and going to start picking up the phone probably sometime mid-June. Who wins? I want y'all to win. So watch for the call, say yes, and go get lunch. Have a great week.
Is that,
No, you don't.
what date is that? Is there?
We are starting next week. So it starts next week and runs through